shows it in time.
With a 5-decade-long career appearing on stage, radio, and TV, masterclass in observational rapid-fire stand-up comedian Jimmy Cricket celebrated his 80th birthday near the making of this video.
He said, "Where have you been?" I said, "The cemetery." He said, "Who's dead?" I said, "They all are." I've had a haircut. He said, "Do you want your haircut round the back?" I said, "Is there no room in the shop?" "I want to sell something. How much is it to place an advert?" She said, "It's £5.90 an inch." I said, "If it's that much, I won't bother." She said, "Why? What are you selling?" I said, "A 20-foot ladder." I ran into B&Q. I said, "I want some nails." He said, "How long do you want them?" I said, "I want to keep them." I got the taxi tonight. He said, "That'll be £8." I said, "I've only got £7.50. Could you reverse back a bit?" I booked a holiday with the travel agent. He said, "When do you want to fly out?" I said, "The same time as the aeroplane." Right?
While lacking the billing power of cartoon fauna such as Snoopy, Mickey, and Bugs, Jiminy Cricket remains familiar across generations. The name Jiminy Cricket comes from a centuries-old minced oath. You can look that up if you want to. When Walt Disney adapted Pinocchio in 1940 from Carlo Collodi's original story, he dramatically refashioned Collodi's talking cricket, whom Pinocchio dispatched with a hammer, only to return as a ghost. Charismatic and fame-bound, making numerous subsequent appearances in remakes, adaptations, theater, and even games, Disney's rebranded four-limbed cricket sported shoes, umbrella, top hat, along with a moral compass.
I was going to school till I met somebody.
Met somebody?
Yeah, two big monsters. What's happened?
Perhaps you haven't been telling the truth, Pinocchio.
Perhaps.
Oh, but I have.
She's right, Pinocchio. You better come clean. Please, Your Honor. Miss Fairy, give him another chance. For my sake, will you?
Cricket Wireless was founded in 1999 in Chattanooga, Tennessee as a budget carrier under Leap Wireless, offering unlimited talk on the eve of the bloviation subculture we've endured ever since. Cricket's appeal was simple: prepaid phones without the contract handcuffs that kept larger carriers fat and happy. Acquired by AT&T in 2014, the brand survived the merger treadmill, unlike so many telecom experiments with names that sounded like consulting projects. Respectably, Cricket still chirps today, serving millions who prefer clarity to fine print. Interestingly, Cricket's launch coincided with the release of the first email pagers, the RIM BlackBerry 950, then the BlackBerry 850, meaning that unlimited talk has coexisted right alongside the age of compulsive thumb typing. Comedian Jimmy Cricket's 80th birthday, that is the making of this video, is closer in time to the founding of Cricket Wireless than the founding of Cricket Wireless is to the first appearance of Disney's Jiminy Cricket by about 32 years. The first hard evidence of the great game of cricket is not in song, poem, or noble pastime, but in a property dispute. Called as witness in a land case at Guildford, Surrey, John Derrick, a 59-year-old coroner, recalled that 50 years earlier he had played cricket there as a boy. And so cricket enters the annals not as glorious sport, but as a side note in a lawsuit. Some point to an older, doubtful reference around 1300 where King Edward II is said to have played a game called Krieg. Yet whatever Edward may have swung at, if anything at all, it is Derrick's childhood memory that gives us the first reliable trace of the game of cricket. Small-scale, unregulated, perhaps played with a gate and crossboard as wicket, bold underhand. That single deposition, buried in legal parchment, is what most experts accept as cricket's true referential origin, antecedent to what is now the world's second most popular sport, boasting over 2 billion fans. Cricket is a bat and ball contest between two 11s, with one side batting and the other bowling and fielding. The bowler delivers the ball, overarm and bouncing toward 3 stumps defended by the batter. Runs are commonly scored by hitting the ball and dashing between the 2 wickets. Think of them as bases, with a partner always running in the opposite direction. Outs or dismissals arrive by bowled stumps, caught balls, or exotic technicalities that lawyers might envy. 6 deliveries make it over, after which a new bowler may take a turn. 10 outs ends the batting side's innings. In its purest form, so-called test cricket, white-suited teams compete with a red ball. Each team bats twice with no limit on overs, and matches stretch up to 5 days, often ending in polite draws. Modern impatience birthed shorter formats, ODI, One Day International, and T20 capped at 50 and 20 overs per side respectively, producing results in hours rather than epochs. These spectacles are played with white balls and brightly colored uniforms and often come with fireworks, cheerleaders, and the hope of new market capture revenue. The first appearance of Jiminy Cricket is closer in time to Jimmy Cricket's 80th birthday than it is to the first known reference to the game of cricket by 257 years. Descended from orthopteran ancestors of the Carboniferous, crickets have been chirping for some 300 million years. Males stridulate, rubbing wing against wing to woo mates or warn rivals, their pulse a kind of biological metronome. Some cousins, like the mole cricket, have traded music for excavation, tunneling with spade-like forelegs and chewing at roots. For humans, the cricket song has been omen, pet, and metaphor. The Chinese have long kept them in ornate cages, a custom still alive today. Europeans, meanwhile, heard luck in their hearthside chirr. They have also found their way into the frying pan, roasted or ground into flour as a high-protein food, now promoted as a sustainable diet of the future. In the tropics, certain species sing at volumes rivaling power tools. One physicist even turned the insect into thermometer. Count chirps at 40 and you have the temperature in Fahrenheit. Thus, a small brown insect, ancient as coal beds, croons summer night soundtracks while moonlighting in folklore, scientific curiosities, and cuisine. We are closer in time to the earliest known reference to the game of cricket than that early courtroom reference is to the appearance of the insect cricket by about 300 million years. Thank you.
Just come from the building site? Yeah, I went for a job today. He said, where do you come from? I said, Ireland. He said, have you lived there all your life? I said, not yet. I turned up one morning. He said, you're late. You've been late every morning. Do you know what time we start here? I said, no. He said, why? I said, because you're always started by the time I get here.